Hello children, I hope you all are doing great. I welcome you all to our English class of class 8. Today we are going to discuss about our unit 6. In this we are going to deal about our grammar topic direct speech and indirect speech. In this section particularly we are going to learn about how to change the sentences given in direct speech to indirect speech. So let's learn it. Let us know about direct speech and indirect speech. Most of you, I guess, are confused what this is. Children, don't get confused. First, let's know from the basic. What is speech? Speech is nothing but what you talk. So here, direct speech and indirect speech are two ways of reporting what somebody said. Let's know about direct speech first. It's the exact and actual words spoken by a person which are placed within inverted commas is called as direct speech. And how do we remember and recognize this direct speech? That is nothing but it always begins with a main clause which includes the speaker and a reporting verb. Okay, and it is always followed by a comma and exact words of the speaker which is enclosed in the quotation marks. So this is how you can identify a direct speech. Okay, let's know from an example. Ravi said, I am an engineer. So Ravi said will be the main clause where Ravi is the subject or the speaker and said is the reporting verb, and after that, as it is said, it is followed by a comma. And what are the exact words of Ravi? He is present within inverted commas. He is saying that I am an engineer. Okay, so this is the direct speech sentence. You have to identify this comma, quotation marks, everything well placed. So that will be a direct speech. Sometimes note that the quoted words can come in the beginning of the speech, like I need to attend an interview, Ravi said. Okay, so here the quoted words are coming before Ravi's dialogue or whatever it is. So it is said and it is saying that it is said by Ravi. So now let's look at this. How do we identify and how do we understand that this is an indirect speech? Indirect speech is also called as a reported speech. Why? Because what someone has already talked, you are reporting that, right? So that is why this is named as reported speech, or it's an indirect speech. Yes, we report what speaker said without quoting his exact words. Why? That is what we are going to throw focus on. Let's know about it. So let's begin with an example here. The same example, Ravi said, I am an engineer. We are changing that into indirect speech. So Ravi said will be the same in both the places. Ravi said, after removing the comma, we are placing a connector that here, that. So I am an engineer. It is Ravi who is an engineer. So I am saying that he was an engineer. So you are changing even the pronoun according to the subject and you are changing the tense. The tense will always change to past tense in the indirect speech. So Ravi said, I am an engineer is direct speech sentence, for which Ravi said that he was an engineer is an indirect speech sentence. Now, Ravi said something like, I need to attend an interview, second one. So now we are changing that into indirect speech. He needed to attend an interview, said Ravi. So I is changed to the respective pronoun he. Need will become past tense. So that is why it is needed. He needed to attend an interview, said Ravi. So like this, children, you have to understand and change the pronouns, change the tense when you are changing. Remove the comma and you are going to remove the quotation marks and you are going to place the connector. In this way, you are going to remember certain things when you are changing from direct speech to indirect speech. Let's know more rules here. There are certain changes which we should actually notice while we are changing a sentence from direct speech to indirect speech. So what are those rules? We have to change tense pronoun and other words in reported speech, like I have said in the before slide. So when we are changing a sentence, anything that is said by the speaker into indirect speech, make changes in pronouns, tense, places, and sometimes children, you have to notice and check whether the statement given by the speaker is a fact or a general statement. Okay, if it is a universal fact or a scientific fact or an habitual action, liking or disliking, you need not change the tense unlike other changes. So remember this and make the changes. So you have to think about making changes in place and time, like today will become that day, now will become then or at that moment, yesterday will become that day before, days ago, days before, last week, the week before, next year, the following year, tomorrow will become the next day or the following day, here, there, this, that, these, those, ago, before, or previously, tonight, that night. So, place and time you have to take care, and you have to change these words when these are mentioned in the words which are given by the speaker within the quotation marks. You are going to replace these words into the words which are given in the words in reported speech column. Okay, remember them. Then you have to even change the tense, like will change to would, can, could, must, have to will change to must and had to, may or might, should will be should, ought to will be ought to. So always remember the tense will be the next past tense. Okay, next you have to even take care of the pronouns when it is I, we, you, my, our, your. How will you change that? It will become he or she when it is I, we will be they, you will be either he, she, they, my will become his or her, our, their, your will become his, her, they. So like this you have to understand these changes and remember them. For this you have to practice, children. If you try to simply mug up them, you might not get any interest. So keep practicing by taking some examples from sentences so that you will remember them better. There are certain changes that you have to remember, and when you are changing the tense, the present simple tense will change to past simple, like I am will change to I was, like that. So present continuous tense, I am eating, will change to I was eating. So past continuous tense, past simple will become past perfect, means here you will be adding had. Okay, so like this, present perfect will become past perfect, will plus future whatever it is will become would and bare infinitive, can will become could, have to will become had to, an imperative sentence, any statement will become to infinitive, then to plus the verb will be added there, of course. So kindly notice these changes. It is not a single day's task, children. You have to focus and practice this. When all these words and all these rules are in your brain, the changing that is done by you from direct speech to indirect speech will be a cakewalk for you. It will be an easy task. Okay, try to learn them. So children, when we are changing a sentence from direct speech to indirect speech, I guess by now you know what are the necessary changes to be made, right? So make changes in pronouns, tenses, place and time, just like what we discussed in the before slide. There are certain rules even to be discussed. Let's know them and also discuss them along with examples. Let's discuss them. Rules here are like when you're changing anything from direct speech to indirect speech, when you're removing this comma, and you have to remember that when you remove this in indirect speech, you are going to add the connector that. Okay, so I already mentioned this, like that must be inserted. Let's see this with an example. He said, I do not like pasta. So I removed this commas and inverted commas in indirect speech. He said that he did not like pasta. Do not will become did not. Why? Because we are changing the tense to past and we have added a connector that. Okay. Next rule. When there is an object in reporting verb, change said to. Whenever you see this in direct speech, said to, you have to change that to told in your indirect speech. Remember this. And says, whenever it is says, it will change to tells. Okay, don't change all the reporting verbs whenever you see into told. Only said to will change to told, said to will change to told, and says will change to tells. Okay, now let us look at the examples. He said to me, you have been a great help. Said to is there. So how we are going to change that? He told me that I had been a great help. Okay. So said to changed. You have been. So it is you means I. So now I am changing that particular pronoun there. I had been. Have been will become had been. Okay. Then next one. He says to me, my teacher is highly educated. Says will change to tells. Let us note that. Okay, he tells me that his teacher is highly educated, and we are not changing the tense here. Why? Because that is something that we need not change. It is happening exactly right now. So it will be, it need not be a past, it will be the same. So kindly note this, and let's also throw some focus on some more examples here. Okay, when we are changing a sentence or something that is the words of the speaker, we have to change the pronoun that is based on the subject there. Okay, and how we are changing. Tina said to me, you are late. Tina said to me. Okay, so said to is their children. So I have to change it to told. Tina told me that you are late. I should not write like that. Tina told me that I was late. Okay, and of course it is a past tense. Now we have to consider a sentence where there is a change in tense. Ram says to Sita, I am busy. The present tense of the verb here between the quotes remain unchanged in indirect speech. Why? Why? Because here says is given. Okay. So he is then busy. Let's know what is indirect speech sentence for that. Ram tells Sita that he is busy. Just now we are discussing. It's still in the present tense. Okay. We need not change into past tense. Next one. Remember this, children, we have already discussed when there is a universal fact or truth, please don't change the tense. Okay, the direct speech sentence will be the teacher said. The sun rises in the east. This is a universal fact and there need not be made any change in the tense. The teacher said that the sun rises in the east. Okay, children, kindly note all these things in your mind and try to practice more and more sentences. Practice can only make you perfect. So don't mug up these rules and don't confuse yourself. Practice one sentence for each rule and you keep on solving other examples given in your textbook as well. So I think that it will be a useful tutorial. Children, now let us change some sentences given in direct speech to indirect speech. But before doing that, I remind you all to once again go through all the words learned by us like the tense change, pronouns change, place change, these things. Please remember them before solving these sentences. Okay. So now let's begin with the first question. She said, this happened yesterday. So now you are going to remember always the words within quotation marks are the speaker's words and she is the subject or the speaker, said is the reporting verb. And now we are going to change the sentences as well as the words within the quotation marks. So the answer will be she said that. Since we are removing the comma, we are going to replace that with a connector or a conjunction that joins the reporting speech as well as the reported speech. So she said that. Again, this happened yesterday. This should change to that. In order to avoid the repetition, we can say that happened will be the same. Yesterday will change to the day before. The answer will be she said that happened the day before. Okay. So the second one, the teacher said to me, what is your name? So something is asked here by the teacher. How can we change this? So we have to remember the rules like whenever you see some questions asked, we can even see that some orders given or whatever. So we can even see that the reporting verb said can be changed according to the situation. So here we see that we can change the sentence to the teacher asked me what my name was. So said will change to asked. Said to will change to asked, and me will be the same. What is your name will change to what my name was, the past tense of it. Next one. The tourist said, where is the Taj Mahal? The tourist is asking, he is inquiring. So we can change the reporting verb here. Like how? Like this. The tourist inquired where the Taj Mahal was. So he is inquiring about the Taj Mahal when he is in a tour to reach that place. So now we can change the reporting verb said to inquired. Where is the Taj Mahal will change to where the Taj Mahal was. So the tourist inquired where the Taj Mahal was. Next question. Leave this place, said the teacher to the boys. So leave this place. So it is sounding like something like an order, right? So now let's see how can we change this one. So remember the reporting verb also can be changed. How can we change that? Like this. The teacher ordered the boys to leave the place. The teacher ordered the boys to leave the place. So like this, we are replacing the reporting verb as well as we are changing the reported words, that is the speaker's words, into past tense. Okay, now let's do the next question. He said to her, may God bless you. Okay, he said to her, may God bless you. Maybe he is praying or he is asking for a blessing from God. We'll see how can we change this. He prayed that God might bless her. This might seem something very different. The her is coming at the end, but here you have to understand the context. Said to her can also be changed to told, but here he is asking for a blessing, he is praying, right? So we will make it simple like he prayed that God might bless her. Here you have to remember that the modal verb may is changed, the tense of it is changed to might there. Okay, so the answer is he prayed that God might bless her. Next question. Meera said to Kavita, you're a good girl. Okay, so here we have to remember the rule, like whenever we see said to, how can we change that, as well as the pronoun changes we are going to say in this particular question. Meera told Kavita, so said to is becoming told here. Okay, Meera told Kavita, since we are removing the comma, we are adding the connector, that she was a good girl, means you is changed to she according to the respective pronoun, like subjective pronoun we are taking. So you are a good girl will change to she was a good girl, are will change to was. So the answer will be Meera told Kavita that she was a good girl. Next question. The teacher said honesty is the best policy. Okay, so here we have to remember the rule that whenever we are dealing with some principles, facts and universal facts, something that is proven, it can't be changed and it will be staying the same forever. In such sentences when we are talking them, so you need not change the tense. So how this is going to be changed? The change will be like this. The teacher said that honesty is the best policy. Nothing is changed, but we are removing the comma and placing the connector, and we are avoiding the inverted commas. Children, remember, the inverted commas should never be placed in the indirect speech. That is a big blunder mistake. Please don't ever commit that. And rest of it, if you are thorough with this, whatever is discussed before, the rules and all, how to change, this will be a really easy task for you. So please concentrate, practice more examples, and this will be really easy for you.
Children, I guess that you all understood the concept of changing the sentences given in direct speech to indirect speech. So it's important for you to understand and remember the rules to do that easily. So I expect that you all will practice a lot. Thank you for staying with me in the class, and until we meet in the next class, wish you all happy learning.